Hey, this is attorney Elizabeth Potts-Weinstein. Today I'm going to give you an overview of applying for a trademark with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. So the trademark registration process. How does it work? So I'm going to go through the different steps and kind of give you a timeline and the different kind of things that could happen. So the first thing you need to do before you file a trademark application is you need to do a search, and you need to see, is anyone else out there actually using this trademark already? Mostly to see what problems you could run into. Should you even apply for this trademark? I've done videos on searches and you can look for that. The second thing you're going to do is actually file the application. You file this on the website, you pay someone to file it for you, whatever it is. And as soon as that is filed, you get a serial number for that trademark application. But then it goes to a queue. This queue is a very long queue that is going to last for very many months. The trademark office is incredibly far behind. It will take, as of right now, I'm recording this video in 2024, 6, 9, 12 months before the trademark office actually even looks at the file. Now, sometimes you can apply for expedited review. You can petition the director for that. You have to already have a problem. So if someone needs to be infringing you, you've sent a cease and desist letter, you filed a lawsuit, whatever it is, there has to be actual infringement happening. The one time I had a client where this got approved easily was because someone was literally selling counterfeits of their products on Amazon. And they tried to get them to stop. Everything was ignored. Then they got expedited review. It's hard to get that approved. Most of the time, you're going to be in that long process where right now, I would say it's an average of about 9 months. Then it's assigned to an examiner who examines it, and they decide whether or not they think that you will get approved. Now, if they say yes, you're going to get approved, and you were already selling your product, so you filed it as a actual use in commerce application, then it goes into one path. And in that path, the next step is that it is published in this database, in this publication, where it's being published for opposition. So the whole world gets notice, like constructive notice, where they can file a formal opposition proceeding objecting to your trademark. And if no one files that, then it goes into another queue to wait for the trademark to go through. Typically, that's now taking another month, 2 months, 3 months, and then you actually get the trademark. So there, I think if everything goes perfectly and you're already using your trademark in commerce and everything, minimum a year, but I would say it's more realistic for like 15 to 18 months for your trademark to actually go through and you have the certificate in hand. So let's say something else happens. Let's say that instead of approving it, the examiner says no. The examiner gives you an office action saying, here's all the reasons I object to this. Now you have 3 months to reply to that. You can get a 3-month extension if you pay them more money. Everything at the trademark office costs more money. And to try to overcome their objections. Sometimes their objections are relatively straightforward things. Sometimes they just want you to change the way the classes are described. Sometimes they want you to do a disclaimer. Sometimes there are things that you can just agree to. Occasionally the trademark office will just email you instead of doing the formal office action, but not always. Then you file that reply, and then they take another month or 2 to look at it. And then hopefully they approve and it goes through that. If not, then they reject it a second time, then you can file another response. You say 3-month period. If they reject it that again, you can also appeal. That just takes more and more time, more and more money, of course. But let's say you aren't yet using yours in commerce. You filed an intent to use application. Then what happens is that you file the application. You have to wait that 6, 9, 12 months, whatever it is. And then let's say they approve it. Well, then what happens is that you now have a window to file your statement of use saying that you actually are using it. And that's a 6-month window, initial window. Let's say you start selling your products and you file that, and then the examiner looks at that to make sure that's okay, and then hopefully they approve it. And then if they don't, then they do office action, the whole same kind of thing happens. But let's say in those 6 months you haven't launched a product yet, you haven't monetized this business yet. You can apply for extensions, paying more money, of course, for another 6 months, and then another 6 months, all the way up to 3 years. At a certain point, you have to justify why you should get more extensions. You have to say what you're doing to try to get this business off the ground. But you can extend it for up to 3 years. There's also other things that could kind of happen. So sometimes, let's say an office action comes down, that the trademark office says, well, there's this other pending application that might be a problem for you, but it's just pending. It might not get approved. It might not go through. Maybe they'll never use it and file their statement of use. So they will suspend your application waiting for that. Similarly, maybe you filed your trademark application not basing it upon you using it in the United States, but based on a foreign application. Well, then they'll suspend the US one, waiting for that foreign application to get approved by whatever other country. And then once that gets approved, then you can file the paperwork there and get your trademark in the United States. So it is, what steps happen really does depend on your exact situation, the basis for your trademark. Are you filing it an intent to use application because you haven't monetized it yet? Have you monetized it? Are you basing it on a foreign application? And then do you get rejected or not? If everything runs perfectly, it can be very quick. Expedited review can happen things very quick if someone's already infringing you and you have proof of that and you send a cease and desist letter, file a lawsuit, whatever it is. But typically, most of the time, it's taking my clients about 15 to 18 months for the trademark to go through. So I hope that helps get you started. Again, this is Attorney Elizabeth Potts-Weinstein. If you have any questions about what I talked about today, feel free to leave them in the comments below and I'll try to point you in the right direction. Thumbs up if you found this video helpful. Subscribe for more videos like this. I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.